What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and it is for Malefics. So I decided to have a bit of fun on this casual Friday, and we put together Malefics. The deck overall is not horrendously bad, but it's definitely not meta. But it is something fun to mess around with, so we figured we may as well check it out and go for it. But before we do get started, as always, please do remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people. And let's get on into the deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, we've got 3 copies of Malefic Stardust Dragon. So, card is solid. It feeds your level 8 plays. I don't know why I chose to have this first, but yeah, we're going with this one first off. Yeah, just 3 Malefic Stardust. It's easy to access because you have the card in the extra deck. It doesn't have to be from your main deck. So yeah, it's overall probably the... no, I wouldn't say the best one. It's great, though. Next off, we've got 3 copies of Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Again, same as the Stardust, where you don't have to have a card in the main deck to summon it, so you can just go straight from the extra deck, which is great. Also feeds your rank 10 plays. Also 4k attack is very, very big. Next off, we've got the new card, 3 copies of Malefic Paradigm Dragon. Card is overall really, really good, like the rest of these cards. The only restriction is this needs a Malefic World instead of just a normal field spell, which is a little annoying. But it does have, the effect to send from deck to graveyard to, return banished, so it does let you, feed. So, lets you bring back this, basically. You can return the Synchros, or you can just use your normal Synchro monster that you've been using, and away you go. Next off, we're playing a Blue Eyes and a Rainbow Dragon for our other 2 Malefics. Rank 8 plays, rank 10 plays are the main reasons we're going with these. Also, big attack. Big attack is the theme of this deck. You can just, bring the game state down to a really, really slow state if you want to, and everything is huge. So it's just let's go to town, and you attack. So yeah, overall, big monsters. Next off, we've got the cards that we need to summon them. So we've got 1 Rainbow and 1 Blue Eyes. You're never really summoning these cards ever. You're just using these as the materials to summon your Malefic Rainbow and your Malefic Blue Eyes, so they just kind of have to be there. Next off, we've got 3 copies of the Malefic Paradox Gear. This card is really, really good. It is a massive plus for the deck. It lets you just activate the field spell, and you get out the Parallel Gear. The Parallel Gear... no, sorry, it doesn't activate the field spell. Doesn't activate the field spell. It needs the field spell on field to do that. My apologies. You know, it summons the Parallel Gear and then adds a monster you can use as a Synchro summon. So, overall, great. It feeds everything out. Then we've got, of course, the 2 copies of the Parallel Gear because it is searchable. You don't really need to play 3 of this card. It's the one thing that I'm trimmed down on. You can just play this at 3 though if you just want to play pure Malefics, even though this is a pretty pure list. There is you can go super expensive on this list if you want, because there is so much room. You can just pack it filled with stuff like Triple Tactics Talents instead of Cold Buy, because obviously you don't have that anymore. And you can play stuff like Imperm and other really powerful hand traps. We are just playing the 1 hand trap though, so that is 3 copies of Nibiru. Again, we're playing this to just try and simplify the game state so that you can just attack over everything. You just need to be careful not to Nibiru your own stuff, because you can put out some very big attack and defense stats onto that token, which can become a problem in a hurry. Next off, after that, we go into the spells, and that is 3 copies of Territory. This card is just essentially a terraforming. It's great. Just kind of facilitates the whole deck to go forward. It is no longer a crappy movie pack deck. It is now competent when you have cards like Malefic Territory. Malefic World comes next. Lets you well, obviously it's the field spell that you kind of need to make the whole world go around, but it does also let you search for Malefics instead of your regular draw phase, which is great. Then we are playing 3 copies of Divide. If you do want to play a more streamlined meta list, you can cut this down to 1. The fact that this isn't once per turn is the reason why I'm playing this at 3. It just lets you recur in a hurry. You can go into Xyz plays so that the card doesn't get banished, and then yeah, away you go. Next off, we're playing 3 copies of Selector. Again, in the grind game, you just want to simplify everything down, and this becomes so much better. Another card you can cut to 1 though, if you do only want to play a more competent meta strategy with more hand traps and things like that. This is definitely something that can go down to 1 copy per deck. Then our primary draw is 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. You probably need to play this over Desires. If you're choosing between the 2, just remember, banish these cards, and then you can't summon them, which is really, really bad. They just become dead cards in your deck. So yeah, 3 copies of Allure is probably better. Then we've got 1 copy of 1 for 1 for summoning out the Parallel Gear, And then we've got one Mystic Mine. I really, really do want to play this card, but it's just like so good in this deck because you can, again, just simplify the game state with Mystic Mine. Everything you have is huge, so it's just like one beta going over everything. Is also a field spell, which you need. Also the fact that it like negates activation, I'm fairly sure stops this bad boy from killing itself if you don't have a Malefic world. So yeah, hopefully if anyone does have the correct ruling for that, because I'm sure Malefic players are here, otherwise it's a Malefic profile with no Malefic players, comment down below whether or not that works, whether or not Mystic Mine stops your Paradigm from killing itself. Then last off we've got our traps. We are playing one copy of Malefic Toon. Playing this at one solid, you just don't play more than this, you only ever need one. And then we're playing one skill drain, again, to simplify the game state. Next off, we've got the extra deck, and of course, it is 3 copies of Paradox Dragon to start it off. This card is just really, really good. The fact that you can summon it with the card on field and the card in hand. It's got 4k, so big beat stick, of course, simplifying the game state. Then we've got 2 copies of Stardust, one good looking, one bad looking. You always banish the the good looking one first. You don't ever want to show anyone the bad looking one. Same with the Cyber End Dragon. We've got one good looking, one bad looking. Always banish the good looking one first, so your opponent has to look at it, and then you just like conceal the fact that you're playing this one. Then for the XEs, we're playing some 10s and some 8s. If you do have a Lieb, play a Lieb here, but I don't have one, so I'm playing 2 Gustav Max and a Super Dora. You can just play 1-1-1 if you have the Lieb. I just don't have it, so 2 and 1 is my current ratio. Then I've got one Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. It's 3 level 10s. It is achievable in the deck, but it's not that feasible. The fact that it is just like a duster when you use it is great though. You can't actually respond to it with spells and traps as well, which is solid, which is always good. Then we've got one Cypher and one Blade. Again, using your rates, just if you need to make them a little bit bigger. This will probably never come up in the list though, because you are playing so much stuff with like 4,000 attack that this just kind of isn't necessary. Then you're playing one Xanathon for the graveyard kind of floodgate, and then you've got one Titanic Dragon to stop the spell cards. But that wraps us up here for this episode of Casual Friday. So if you do have any changes, like always, that you would make to the deck, do remember to comment them down below so that everyone who's come here to check it out can go and see it. If you do have any suggestions for decks that we should like kind of put out on Casual Fridays, comment them down below as well. I have like ideas for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. After that though, I'm kind of like not 100% sure what I'm going to be going with. Next week's will be a Jinzo deck profile with the new stuff, so do remember to check that out. And as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon everybody.